Marsha Boo, and how are you? Okay. So, now my question is, does anybody know what the lazy people's exercise is? Does anybody have it? You want me to tell you?
Yes.
It's called diddly squats. How about that? How about that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, now you know we all, when we were little, our grandparents used to tell us jokes and tell us things. My grandfather used to tell us all the time that they were so poor that when he had his shoes on and he was walking down the street, if he stepped on a dime, he could tell if it was heads or tails.
Okay, Marsha.
Okay. Now, little Johnny, they live across the street from me, okay? And little Johnny swallowed 12 aspirin. Okay, the mother was just so upset. She didn't know what to do. She was just crying and carrying on. So she got up and called the doctor. She said, doctor, help me. My son has just swallowed 12 aspirin. And he said, now wait a minute, calm down. Let me ask you a few questions. Is he sweating? She said, no. Well, is he sleepy? She said, no. Well, is he vomiting? She said, no. She said, but what difference does that make? He swallowed 12 aspirin. He said, so what am I going to do? What am I going to do? He looked at her and he said, well, I can tell you this. I think you need to try to find a headache.
That was good.
Okay, now my uncle, way back in the day, used to be in the army. And then they were always out on the battlefield. So he had to be out there, and one day the sergeant came and called them all in and said, okay, you guys, now this is a good and a bad situation. So he said, well, what do you want to hear first? And he said, well, we want to hear the good first. And he said, the good news is that you're all going to have a change of socks come Friday. And they're like, yay. Now give us the bad. He said, well, the bad is, Charles, you're going to have to change with Smith. Smith, you're going to have to change with Turner. Turner, you're going to have to change with Page.
Okay.
Page, you have to change with Black.
All right, that's it.
Okay.
Now, everybody been sitting around and ain't nobody really been doing no exercises. So I decided that I was going to go to Lou Walker and get an exercise class. So I called up the doctor. The doctor said, Marsha, that's fine. I like the way you're thinking. So I said, okay. So I went home and I was like, wow. I was jumping and I was pulling and I was stretching and I was yanking and I was doing everything that you could possibly do. Bending here, bending there. And you know what? Before I could get out into my leotards, the class was over.
Very good.
Okay, now I got this one for you. Little Johnny ran in the house and he ran to his mom and said, Mama, I know what Jesus' real name is. She said, you know what his real name is. How you know it? He said, I know what his real name is. His real name is Howard. So she said, well, how in the devil did you come up with that? He said, when we were in Sunday school class, the teacher said, everybody bow your head and said, Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. came in the house and there was a burglar in there with his bag and he was just taking out stuff and I said, stop! Acts 2:38. Stop! Acts 2:38. So he threw up his hands. She said, oh, I got his hands up, now let me call the police. So she called the police. The police came, they arrested him, handcuffed him, and as he was walking out the door, he said, let me ask you a question. Why were you standing up with your hands in the air? She wasn't doing it but spouting off some spiritual scriptures. He said, is that what she was doing? I thought she said she had an axe and 2 38s.